Hi, this is Naroki5. I am going to be doing this until I die or I find something better to do. So please help me achieve this personal and, I think, noble objective by contributing to my Patreon or Subscribe Star. Link is down below. Every little bit helps. Thank you very much.
Big hair, dreadlocks, little skirt, red box, hot dog, puppeteer, smiley shorts, white beard, Tom Hanks, pet goats, buckle, Joseph's coat, jellyfish, call a girl, prison night, gotta have skin, capital chip, ponytail, pirate ship, no shirt, no shoes, oops, I took a boot. Spider-Man, back boobs, a bumblebee, bad boobs, metal creep, hipster creep, little Bo Peep, lost her shoe. These are the people who Walmart, through the night, down the rollbacks and shopping carts. These are the people who Walmart, where we save money, shop smart, only at Walmart.
We are the people of Walmart. Yes, Walmart is not actually mentioned in tonight's recording, folks, but we had a little running joke about the people of Walmart before we started the show, so that's going to be the opening theme for tonight. So, hello, everybody. I am Naroki5. This is the Red Pill Nation Hangout number 336. We got a larger than usual crowd tonight, which is good. I am, of course, your hero, your host and brave individual, Naroki5. With me tonight is, of course, a guy who actually frequents Walmart because he just finds everybody there so sexy, and he likes to go in his gimp suit too because he fits right in. Rearson.
No. Just flat out fucking no. I go there when I absolutely have to, and I assure you, it's not because I'm looking for the Hefalos. Now, I'm not going to speak for anybody else on our show for tonight as to what they prefer or they want to meet them.
They say you can't account for taste.
Yeah. And on that note, I'm done. Next.
All right, making a return trip to America, where he just, I believe it was only yesterday or the day before he landed. He's back in the good old U.S. of A. V.
Yes, that's right. I'm back. V is back. Guess who's back? Back again.
V?
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
V.
And yes, I made my first trip to Walmart, and oh my god, there's a lot of beef. Oh, as many heifers as you can shake a stick at. Woo!
Or dick.
See, as soon as he's back, he's already got 2 trailer park girls going around the outside. You know, it's
Going around the outside. Going outside. Actually, 3, but you know, we'll talk about that off the air.
Well, that's only because they can't go through the regular doors. Anyway.
Exactly. Yes. So glad to be on the show. I didn't want to miss it. So I've been gone for a little while, and yeah, I'm B. Next.
And, of course, all the way from New Zealand, Vinny Eastwood.
G'day, guys. I'm Vinny Eastwood. I had 65,000 YouTube subscribers, making me the most subscribed YouTube channel in New Zealand at one point until I got completely deplatformed. So now I have to do the Red Pill Hangout show. And
Love you too, Vinny. We really do.
Hey, you know,
No.
we're all
Well,
family.
the great thing is about guys is that we can all fucking take a joke, can't we? And well, what was the difference between 5 big girls and V?
Oh God, what?
What?
You already know the end of the joke. Now we're going to have a great show here tonight.
Well, you know, if Veerson, it all depends on what we can take. It depends on all what we're wearing, you know, especially if Veerson's in the gimp suit. That's a whole another
Yep.
level of taking things, right?
All right, but I found some I found something, a special tribute just for V on his most recent trip to Walmart.
It certainly is a big bun. It's a very big bun. Big fluffy bun. It's a very big fluffy bun. Where's the beef?
And the place to give you a lot less beef on a lot of bun.
Where's the beef?
At Wendy's, we serve a hamburger we modestly call a single. And Wendy's single has more beef than the Whopper. At Wendy's, you get more.
Is that the big black popper?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
he knows where the
What?
beef is. Oh, right. So, for those of you who don't know, I am at Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, MGTOW TV, Bradion. I do have a YouTube channel, but I don't promote it because, well, it's YouTube and F them. Facebook, Minds, Gab, MeWe, TLB Talk, Parlor. No, you're not really Parlor. Getter. And communities.win. That'd be about it for now. I am currently in a strange ironic twist, Rearson. I am back at the very camp that laid me off at the start of the COVID insanity with the same manager to boot.
Oh, don't that fucking beat all?
Yeah, so I got along with the guy, and he wanted to keep me around even during COVID. But unfortunately, I was the lowest guy in terms of seniority, so he had to lay me off. But literally right back where I started back in 2020. So tonight's shows, tonight's topics. Topic number 1, and I know maybe. Vinny Eastwood doesn't know about these and guys, but I think everybody else here knows about them. The Krassenstein brothers. Yeah, you need to be sitting down for this one. Officially exposed as bought and paid for shills. Yeah, I know. I'm absolutely stunned. Topic number 2 is San Francisco a failed state. Topic number 3, I don't know how long we're going to go on about this one. We are going to be talking about it again on the next show, which is either going to be Sunday or Wednesday next week. I have it tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, but this particular episode, we're going to be talking about the Hamas attacks on Israel. 100 kills, media's having a meltdown on both sides. Yeah, it's almost tempting to cover everything that's happened up until now, but we will only cover the first few days of this if we can. Topic number 4, LGTBQ community melts down because NHL bans pride tapes on sticks. Yeah, you should have seen the spurging out that was happening on Twitter and Facebook over that one. Topic number 5. And Dylan Mulvaney wins Woman of the Year.
Okay. Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah, Dylan Mulvaney wins Woman of the Year. And topic number 6, Nelson Peltz attempting hostile takeover of Disney. That was a kind of an interesting topic. And it does explain some of Disney's unusual actions earlier on in the year. But without any further ado, because we'll get done when we get done. But let's just get right into this here. Topic number 1. Now, I gotta ask both V and Vincent and Vinny if they know who the Krassenstein brothers are.
I actually do not know.
Okay.
Are they like mentally deranged Jews?
Well, they are Jews. Mentally, yeah, actually, I would have to say they're mentally deranged, but they've been paid to do. They've been paid to do so. In North America,
there's actually a long history of people with mental illness and psychopathy and things of that nature being recruited by incel communities because they're easy to blackmail.
It wouldn't surprise me. So, while Trump was president and while Trump was still on Twitter, every time Trump would send out a tweet on Twitter, somehow the Krassenstein brothers, Brian and Ed, would always come up to the top of the feed. Like every single time. It was happening so much with the Krassensteins that eventually somebody built up enough evidence of duplicitous and bad behavior of the Krassensteins elsewhere and actually got them removed from Twitter. They, of course, went over to Parler to cry about it. There was not a whole lot of sympathy on Parler, and then Parler, well, you know what happened with Parler back in 2020. So when Elon bought Twitter, he reinstated multiple accounts. The Krassensteins were among them. The thing that stands out about Brian and Ed Krassenstein is that if there is the wrong side of an issue to take and a confidently ignorant statement on Twitter to make about said being on the wrong side of an issue, the Krassensteins will do it every single time. Even when they have been proven wrong, they will stick by the story. And I mean, they insert themselves into discussions, they insert themselves into arguments, they insert themselves into literally everything, always on the wrong side. And they've typically, when they've gone public, they've had really flimsy arguments, petulant, arrogant, egotistical, completely immune to logic, and yet somehow they never seem to go away. And of course, what ended up happening is that somebody actually got into their place of residence and started secretly recording. I believe it was Brian Krassenstein, and Brian Krassenstein literally spilled the beans.
Is that your job?
I have several businesses, but the Resistance is a really good group of people that's spread throughout the country, probably throughout the world. I mean, it's just kind of, it's just what I enjoy spending my time doing, and of course we get paid. Of course those higher ups pay us.
So you're paid for this? It's not just like something you do because for your love of country?
Yeah, I mean, people pay us. They want us to help sow the division and to take over Trump's Twitter feed. When he makes a post, they want our tweets to be up there. They don't want other people to, like Trump supporters, to be seen.
Him and his brother are basically bought and paid for shills. Now, this should probably come as absolutely no surprise. Both Vinny and V don't know who these people are, but I mean, to basically make a long story short, these are some of the people that used to really thrive under the old regime in Twitter. And we've covered this before. You know, I know V might remember just a couple months ago we were talking about the Biden bros, those two teenagers who always somehow managed to find their way to the top of the feed on Twitter for a few months before they got exposed. Basically the same thing. The difference is that they're still doing it, and while I'm not particularly surprised that they're shills, it was finally nice to actually find somebody who actually nailed them on it and caught them on it. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Well, so I assume this was recent.
Yeah, less than 2 weeks ago. Yeah, this is less than 2 weeks.
That means there's not much change. I mean,
well,
how long has Elon been in control of Twitter now?
Almost a year. Well, I mean, the thing is, though, the Krassensteins aren't appearing at the top of the feed anymore. It's just that, I mean, they still keep appearing. I mean, keep in mind the Biden bros were doing the same thing, right? Somehow their BS videos always came up near the top of the feed too, right? Elon Musk was not the savior that a lot of people had thought he was going to be. I kind of figured that out on my own. But I mean,
right.
He's not.
Well, I mean, it's a shame because it's at least my thing is, and trust me, this is not the way it's going to be, but in this situation, I would think those who would pay out to get more of a voice instead of a platform reaching out to people to pay to be politically outspoken. It seems totally in breach of the trust of the people on the platform. I've got tlbtalk.com, okay? Social media network. There's no favoritism. Every post you see is just in there chronologically. We're not putting anybody up as favorites or anything. We might be sectioning off a local feed versus a national feed so that people can get more out of their community and be seen more in their own individual communities. But even that's going to be first come, first serve, included. Anything else is a breach of trust of the users on the platform. So Twitter, as far as the social network is concerned, that's like murder one. That's a huge crime. And I'm sorry to hear that Twitter isn't cleaning up their act like they're purporting themselves to be. I don't know. That's all I have to say on that.
Vinny.
It just, I don't know, when that was being talked about, the only thing I could really think about was Pete Santilli. And this guy gets recruited by the FBI. Daphne Hearns out of the cybersecurity office in Chicago moves to the Sacramento field office and starts this operation called Operation Out Truck, where they infiltrate the Truckers' Ride for the Constitution that had close to a million followers on Facebook, and they were going to shut down the Capitol. And then suddenly the bank accounts for the truckers that were supposed to pay for fuel disappeared, and the Truckers' Ride for the Constitution Facebook got changed to the Pete Santilli Show with 1 million followers. You know, and this is how COINTELPRO works, and they're very difficult to spot sometimes, because how do you tell the difference between a psychopath, just a straight psychopath, doing their own thing the way they do it, and somebody who is unscrupulous and being paid to do it? Okay, and so that's what makes the truth movement sort of confusing for some people in politics and media and all of that sort of thing, because these people are out there, and if you get real paranoid about it, you know, you don't listen to too many people. And I'm not sure what the right approach is, because it's difficult to see them for what they are. So be wary, I think, of the wolves in sheep clothing in your midst. And that's regardless of what political stripe you manage to fly. And I'll turn it over to you guys.
This really is not all that surprising. At least not for me anyway. I mean, I had heard speculation that the Young Turks were bought and paid for by the Democrats, with leading up to the 2016 election. Can't say for certain, but wouldn't surprise me. And in a way, I mean, it's also, I mean, we'll get to this with Peltz with the hostile takeover of Disney, but to see the amount of people that were rah-rahing for Ahsoka, and especially with the last episode, it looks pretty obvious that, you know, I've seen better acting in porn. That's all I'm going to say. I've seen better acting in porn. But that's the whole thing that I can see. If Disney would do it, I don't see why the deep state, which is what Disney is part of, in my honest opinion, they're not above these tactics to artificially prop something up or to keep things going in one form or another. So, yeah, the easiest way that I can say this, that I'm not surprised by this. I really am not. I hope it was worth it, and I have to wonder if this would not be somehow a traitorous or treasonous act that could land them in with jail time, or if it's treason, potentially could be executed. But, you know, we'll see. Who knows? But this is why that I'm not really on social media anymore, because I don't have the time, I don't have the inclination, and I suppose as I'll take what Denzel Washington has said. If you don't watch or read the news, you're uninformed. And if you do read it, you're misinformed. Well, I'll be happy to be uninformed of anything going on right now, because I have more important things in my life to do and to work on. So, and with that, my friend, let's move on.
Oops. Damn it. Hold on a second. Yeah, sorry. I found something and I went to hit play and it just disappeared on me. Oh, wait, there it is. Oh, for God's sakes. Now it's disappeared again. All right, I'll find it again here. So, yeah, I found another Klaus Schwab came out with a new record again.
But wait, hold on. Are you miking up my bedroom? That sounds very familiar.
Oh, wait, there it is.
Nothing. And be happy.
But this one is going to make your modified mRNA tingle. Time Lies presents Greatest Schwabs, Volume 15. A New World Order in Music.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the unvaccinated are still alive. A little bit of Pfizer in my arm. A little bit of BioNTech does no harm. A little Johnson Johnson does the trick. A little AstraZeneca so you don't get sick. It's booster number 5. Let's talk about Vax, baby. Let's talk about Doc Fauci. Let's talk about all the weird and counter side effects, maybe. Let's talk about Vax. Let's talk about Vax. Come and take the 7 shot. The 7 shot. It's a little luck you get. Oh! Myocarditis. You won't have to be rich. With CBDC, you'll have all you need. The central currency. We just take your extra wealth and your cash. And you can walk 500 steps, but not a single step more until the curfew activates and robot cops stand at your door. Just a small town boy drinking genetically modified soy. This ensures he doesn't procreate. Please stop bleeding. Stop the bleeding. We are almost 9 billion people. Please stop bleeding right now. She didn't start the Pfizer. We just made you take it, even if you hate it.
Greatest Schwabs, Volume 15. Now available on Spotify and Apple Music.
All the caterpillar tastes like chicken in wine, and mealworm tastes just like a steak. Ain't nothing better than a deep-fried butterfly or centipede protein shake. Be sure to check the cricket McNuggets out. They're almost as crunchy as worms. And chew your Grillgas hot sandwich extra loud. 'Cause this is all you get. I don't care who you are, where you're from, don't care what you've done. You will eat the hearts.
And you know someone's made 13 other episodes of this stuff.
Right, seriously?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my god.
I'm posting. I'm gonna be. All right, let's move on
I
to the
swear,
next topic.
I found all of class. I found all of Klaus's greatest hits. I found them on the desk. I found them now.
Oh, nothing. Be happy.
all
Oh,
the
no,
virus
thank
and
you.
zippers just broke.
I'll be happy.
This Gibson.
Okay,
Oh my
let's.
God.
All right, moving on to
Landlord
the.
says your rent is late. You don't work, you just masturbate. But don't worry, you own nothing.
Be happy.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
nothing.
out of
Be
pocket.
happy.
Talk
Okay,
about
let's
out
get.
of pocket.
All right, we're going to the state that you are currently in here for the next topic here, V.
Or Cal.
Yeah, we're talking about Northern California here. Joe Rogan, like, literally said on his show that, for all intents and purposes, San Francisco is a failed state. Now, I mean, there's one guy, he obviously lives around the Bay Area, and his thing has been to go around with a camera to what were previously very busy and active downtown streets in San Francisco, in Berkeley, in Oakland, and whatever, and showing just rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of basically like no stores downtown. Now, I am noticing this trend everywhere. Now, the city I live in, it's not nearly so bad, but there is a lot of unclaimed real estate down like the mall down in downtown Edmonton. I think it's lost two of its three big box stores that used to be down there. They're both pulling out because of lack of business and also because of the increasing number of vagrants. And of course, we have a quote unquote like Calgary, although he's not quite as out in the open about things in Edmonton as opposed to Calgary. We have got a former Liberal cabinet minister as mayor of Edmonton at this point in time. And, and while he's not doing things like passing city bylaws that make it illegal to protest transgenders reading stories to children, he has been attempting, to the best of his ability, to push for 15-minute cities. Now, but we're not talking about the city that I live in. We're talking about San Francisco. And I mean, we're not just talking about store closures. We're talking about and you're seeing this in you're seeing this in literally every city in North America. And I don't know what it's like down in Australia and New Zealand, but I mean, I have to imagine you're starting to see it too. You're seeing large sections of downtowns being shut down. You're seeing drug use everywhere. You're seeing inept or corrupt police not doing their jobs. And the pattern is repeating itself in literally it's even in the red states, for instance, or the conservative areas of Canada, even in places like Calgary and Edmonton, you're noticing you're noticing that every single city, at least in North America and probably Western Europe, is heading down that same path, right? The cities are getting, especially the downtown area, is getting less and less desirable to live in. And it's, in some places, living downtown was never a good thing in the first place. But there's other cities like, say, Vancouver, for instance, where living downtown was actually considered a good thing because downtown was effectively the West End. The whole thing is that, I mean, it's in, there was, I mean, I posted it up a couple of times, that shit map of San Francisco. We talked about it on the show, that former district attorney, Chesa Boudin, who was actually so bad even by progressive San Francisco standards that he got removed. And of course, it turns out when you start taking a closer look at him that he was the son of a couple that was literally killed a police officer back in the 60s as part of I can't remember what the name of the group is, but its last name was Underground. And the theory that was floated out that I heard on a podcast recently is that, I mean, it's because it's not just isolated to one city. It's happening everywhere, which is a very strong suggestion that this is coordinated in some degree or another, aka, and we've talked about this, the Soros DAs and whatnot, that, I don't even think it's reform. I think it's literally, and I mean, Alex Jones talked about this. By the way, we'll be covering Alex Jones as the topic next on the next show. you know, and attempt to drive down the prices so that a certain corporation can buy up the real estate really cheap and actually make the 15-minute cities a reality. And San Francisco just happens to be the city that's furthest along. And it's when Joe Rogan and Noam Chomsky talked about this as well, the concept of the failed state. A state where, like you simply cannot rely on the government to do any of the jobs that it used to do. Law enforcement, safe streets, clean running water, power, all of those things, right? In San Francisco, the city just simply cannot provide for any of that stuff. And here's the other part about it too. If you want to know what places like San Francisco and LA and Seattle are going to look like in 20 or 30 years, just look at Detroit, because that's exactly where they're going. Okay, well, Vinny, if you can jump back in later, feel free. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to V.
Yes, later, Vinny. Yeah, so I was just in San Francisco. I really wanted to fly in through Reno because supposedly Reno is an international airport. But then again, all the rest of the airports in this area are, in fact, international airports. Sacramento, LA, Reno. However, for the international flights now, they're only just to get to the West Coast, into California specifically. The only international flight that you can get is San Francisco. Even if you do have to get to Reno, you gotta land in San Francisco first just to get to Reno or Sacramento. I'm sorry, I think maybe LAX might be able to, but on other airlines. But from Europe, if you're coming from Europe, you're going to land in San Francisco. So, yeah, we're talking about the Great Reset here. Okay, there are multiple phases to it. COVID was just one of them. Vaccines was just another phase. And speaking of which, coming here, I still see maybe 1 or 2 people out of every 10 still wearing masks. The airport personnel, half of them are wearing masks. I'm like, oh my God, COVID was 2 years ago, people. Like, can we get over this already? But yeah, I mean, I looked at some of the services that I was going to be needing to see in San Francisco, see if I needed to do stuff elsewhere. But, I'm looking at all the services online, what's available. Okay, great. For example, I needed my status exchange into dollars. Come to find out, I get to San Francisco Airport. Their exchange place is closed. Why? Because of COVID. If anybody can explain that to me, it's probably because they're just squeezing out, tying up little corners, right, to make it harder to use cash, period, because they want a cashless society. They're using COVID as an excuse not to change money. I've got a wallet so fat that doesn't close. It's filled with thousands and thousands of slaughters that I can't get changed into American dollars. I've checked place after place, and it's like, even my main bank, for whatever godforsaken reason, can't exchange it for another 6 months. It has to sit with them, so then it would show up on my account in 6 months. What the hell's going on? Things are being made increasingly harder. And I've seen, you know, on my way out, sightseeing, driving around. Yeah, San Francisco is looking. I mean, beautiful city, beautiful houses in the hills. Everywhere you look, it's hills, houses for miles. Beautiful place. Highways have these, you know, electronic billboards. They're essentially giant TVs. It's all futuristic, you know. Talking about VR. Get your virtual headset. You know, I'm thinking I traveled 20 years to the future here. In my attempt to adjust here. And it's, yeah, the homelessness is crazy. I mean, they're everywhere. And I was going to, originally, I was going to rent out a room, do a little sightseeing, and then take a Greyhound further up north. But just to rent your basic motel room, it's like $270 a night. Versus, you know, where I am now in a small town, you get a motel room for $69 per night. It's still kind of expensive. It used to be $39 a night. But that's just how hard it is. I mean, you can be out on the corner getting coins all day long. For most homeless people, you do that for straight 8 hours. You got enough to go get yourself a motel room, a Big Mac, and maybe a tall boy. You can do that one day. But it would seem like you'd have to be out on the street an entire week just to be able to do that. Yeah, I skipped out. I was like, no way I'm getting a motel room here. That's highway robbery. That's $270 would be like half my rent normally somewhere else. So it's just choking people out. People are being choked out. The middle class is shrinking, and everybody who is poor and broke, God help them. It's getting way too expensive to live, which is a crime against humanity itself. There's no other species on this planet that has to pay to live. You know, as just like any other species here, we should be living off the land. I shouldn't need your permission to live. I shouldn't have to accumulate slave tokens to hand to master in order for me to continue breathing. But yet, this is where we are. It's not just San Francisco. It's worse in LA. I've been watching documentaries on the homeless. It's Portland, LA, and it is horrendous. Even New York. I mean, it's not like this is nothing new, but they've really perfected this with New York, I think. Having to make so much money just to live that idealistic life that's constantly being pounded into your skull. This is the way you have to live. This is the way you have to live. No one's going to love you unless you're like this. And that's what's wrong with our women. I know I'm branching off, but this is you're nobody unless you have a loft in downtown New York. That's the only way you can get a quality woman, or one that looks like your favorite model, porn star, whatever. It's ridiculous. People are becoming so materialistic, and it's helping this failed state that Joe Rogan mentioned. We need to wake up. We need to stop being materialistic. We don't need so much stuff. We need to stop paying money to the governments and the corporations for the crap that we don't need. Hell, I mean, I'm going to be where I am for a couple more weeks. Then I'm going even further north. I'm going to go and help some elderly friends, restore their property. I'm going to be working my butt off. In return, they're going to give some property to me, but, this is the kind of thing that we humans should be doing. Helping each other. And helping each other live. It's not all about the paycheck. There's plenty of people out there that'll give you work. There's plenty of people out there that'll share what they have with you. Have a symbiotic relationship, an actual community. For what's me, I had enough money, I'd start a commune. A farming commune. But we got to stop, it's a failed state because we're supporting it. You cannot, if something's already a failure, for example, the endless wars in the Middle East, you got to keep dumping money and dumping money and dumping money, and we still end up pulling out of Afghanistan. How many trillions from the U.S. military budget did our failed occupation take? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Same concept. People need to wake the hell up. If that, I'll pass it on to Mercy.
San Francisco? Yeah. Well, funny enough, I will actually be, if all works out well, I will be in Seattle middle of November. And with what Naroki said, it's given me some pause to want to go out there. Because I've got a friend, well, I'm the best man. So the groom-to-be, and I'll keep my thoughts to myself on that one, but the groom-to-be wants me to move out there. And I figure at this point in time right now, the easiest way to do that would probably be to get married to an American woman. Now, I have no idea what kind of a den of vipers I'm going into, because I'm somewhat an eligible bachelor, and no doubt her older friends are going to be looking for a new man. But I already know what to look for, or what to look out for. But,
well,
yeah.
Hey, if you want to skip all the garbage, you can always marry me. It's the same state marriage. Hey.
Well, same-sex marriage is possible, yeah. And we've known each other for 2 years, if that qualifies. So,
honeymoon's already over.
Oh yeah, long time ago. And I ain't gonna be your bitch. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey man, it just means we can enjoy beer in the game together a little bit easier than everybody else.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Gimp suit. Do.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
If we were going to do that, we'd have to do it in San Francisco. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, the San Francisco 69ers on the on the old Bizarre show. Oh my God, that brings back memories. Holy shit. No, I mean,
Oh, college memories there, buddy.
oh, that was it was a half hour comedy show on CTV out of Toronto. Hiroki might remember it, but I certainly do. Absolutely.
I remember the Bizarre show. I don't remember that specific thing. I remember Super Dave Osborne getting booted off the CN Tower.
Or he pissed off Mr. T.
Or he pissed off Mr. T.
What was it? That's where I also saw
the Bigot family. That one was funny.
Oh, that was hilarious. There was also Howie Mandel doing his Bobby skit, and also Victoria Jackson, who would be later on Saturday Night Live. But anyway, it's almost a tempting thought. I would just say that much. It's almost a tempting thought. Anyway.
Well, it's kind of like that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Charlie marries Danny's character, and they just do it for the benefits.
God,
it's hilarious. You got to watch it. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, I know of the TV show, but that's all I can say. Anyway, no, I can see all of the points that were already made about the state of the cities. The desired outcome of the Klaus Schwabs of the world. And I'll go on a bit of a limb here, and I have to agree with. I've been listening to Pearly things quite a bit, and she's actually of the opinion that women should not vote because they're the ones that are bringing in this stupid shit. They really are. It's and at the end of the day,
I want to put some pearly things around her neck. Oh man.
Okay, is there got to be a moment of your life where you're not thinking with your fucking groin? Just ask it.
Well, listen, I am free as a bird now.
Oh, so you and the missus are parted ways, have you?
Well,
Pearly off the air talk.
Pearly things is aggressively mid. I'm just saying.
Oh, I've got. Oh yeah, well.
Her personality makes up for it. I think her, she's mid attractiveness, but just because she's willing to get in that kitchen without complaint makes her a 10 to me.
We're way off topic, by the
way.
When aren't we? Anyway.
Pearson's brain reeling back.
I'm still reeling at your proposal, at your comical proposal. Anyway. Anyhow, one way or the other. No, I mean, and with all of the arguments that we've heard.
Because I assume we leave here in the morning and we all go home and we parent our children. That's what I do.
Really, that's what you do? Well, that's nice. Anyway, these arguments that we've all heard from the left and socialists and the feminists, it's all a social construct. Well, sure, I suppose that's so. I suppose that being homeless is now as a social construct as well too. But that would be pretty convenient to talk about now, wouldn't it? When I get my sorry, not so skinny white ass into the States, where I will want to go will be south of where I immediately live as a province, which is Montana. It's small, mountainous, by and large, Republican leaning. And that will be good enough for me. Don't want any more. Don't want to be dealing with any fucking crazy white liberal bitches because, well, V, you can tap those all you want. I ain't going to stop you because I ain't going there. Lord knows they're all probably, they've already been run through about 30 or 40 times, but the body count doesn't. No, we're going off topic. Anyway, whoops. Anyway.
And what makes you think you're competition for me, buddy?
Dude, I'm giving up.
Don't you want those liberal women? Who else is going to put up with you and your cancer?
I'm sure at least one of them would try to do that on OnlyFans. Anyway, we'll leave that alone. Oh boy. Now I don't have anything more to say on this one.
Oh, okay, all right. Found it. So I couldn't find the bizarre San Francisco 69ers, but I did find this.
Carl and Alex got up to yesterday because I assume we leave here in the morning. We all go home. We parent our children.
No.
It's what I do. It would seem they did none of this since yesterday. They were watching footy game in America. The Rams and the San Francisco 69ers play rubbish game.
49ers!
Whoa.
Yes! A lot of people might pay to see it. That's what we were doing, the 49ers. That's much harder to explain to your wife. The 49ers did win.
If you're watching football.
No, the point's been made. These are live pictures from Krassenstein. Sodden and soggy. It's
I couldn't. I'll have to find it. Anyway, so let's get on with the next topic here.
Alrighty.
Well, hold on. I take it back. Rarson, you can pass me all the fat liberal white women you want.
Take them. ruin them for everybody else because they're already ruined anyway.
All right, moving on. Okay, so there's been a lot of news about this. This is about I believe Hamas started its attack probably about 9 or 10 days ago. So we'll be talking about the first 3 or 4 days. We will be covering some of the other stuff that has occurred since then on 337. So Hamas about 9 or 10 days ago launched an attack into Israel. Now there are some very curious there's few questions I've got. Like, this is the second time now, for instance, that an Arab group has launched an attack into Israel on a holiday. That's the first thing. Yom Kippur, which was back in 1967, was also done on a holiday when most of the troops were home, and they almost drove Israel right into the sea in that war. So there were more people of Jewish persuasion killed today than there has been since the Second World War on that particular day. Now, here's the thing about it. First of all, some people, and there was perhaps maybe not so surprising, there was a lot of support for Palestine in North America among the individuals that, and I don't feel the least bit sorry for this person because I actually did a Toxic Thoughts series back when I was still doing stuff with Nihilist on a woman called Mia Khalifa. Now, Mia Khalifa is originally from Lebanon. Well, she was born in Lebanon anyway. So she she posted some pro-HAMAS stuff, and she immediately lost the overwhelming number of corporate sponsorships that she had at that point. Now, we'll get more into this story later. First of all, some of the things that really stuck out with me. One, the border was left curious. The border patrol was left curiously light. That is something that stands out for me right away. Two, Mossad has arguably got the best intelligence network on the planet. Now, you would figure that they would have agents all over the Gaza Strip, but somehow they completely missed this. So one of the things that comes into mind with me is, did they allow this to happen? And if they allowed this to happen, what is the end game for allowing it to happen? Because there's been some curious fallout about what's going on in the Middle East in North America, and it's had some rather interesting effects, which I won't get into on this particular show. The next question: would Netanyahu knowingly allow some of his own citizens to get murdered to promote an agenda? And the answer, hold on a second here, guys. Don't know why my throat is really scratchy tonight. Would Netanyahu do something like that? Yeah, like for instance, one of the more famous scenes that has come out of the first few days was about those people that were attending that rave or that dance. Now, there's a rumor floating around that event got moved closer to the Gaza Strip just a few days before it was supposed to occur. Now, that could be a coincidence, or that could have been planned. I mean, what I'm seeing here, though, is this does not seem to be as random as it appears. Because I mean, if you listen to the mainstream news, you're hearing one narrative, and you're seeing a lot of pro-Palestine stuff. On the other hand, though, you're hearing a lot of really inconsistent stuff, and like I say, we'll be talking more about this next week. There's just things about that. Just like it seems to be very. Yeah, there's a lot of questions that need to get answered, and the way the propaganda machine is running right now, I don't think that we're going to be getting those answers. The only thing I can definitively say, though, is that this does not add up as to have been just a random attack. I've also the other part about this is that a lot of the money has been coming from Iran, apparently, and Iran got this money from all the payments that the Americans have been giving them. So is there an agenda there as well? And with it, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Well, agendas. Propaganda. For the simple fact, I'm kind of, I don't know how to describe the feeling. It's a feeling of apprehension and relief at the same time. because Americans are hearing this. Typically, because a lot of Americans are pro-Palestine, you have a media blackout. 100 Israelis killed. Oh my goodness. Thousands of Palestinians are dying weekly. Thousands upon thousands. I don't have any sympathy for the Israelis because they are the oppressors. Okay? So let me circle back again. Let me repeat what I said. There's a media blackout because America is pro-Palestine. It's only natural because we root for the underdogs, especially for people who just want their freedom, for people who just want to live like everybody else. I mean, the media is, and you can really tell the true evil in the situation. I mean, have either of you ever once heard any news on your international news feed? Not feed, but news channel, CNN, whatever, major networks. You've never heard any news come out of Africa. I mean, I don't know about Canada. You probably have BBC, some version of it. But I can tell you, in America, not no major networks, not MSNBC, not Fox, not CNN. Will you ever hear about any news coming out of Africa? It's a media blackout. Why? Because there are a lot of United States special interest, black op operations. They're screwing Africans out of what little they have already. You're not going to hear about the genocides. The United States government is pulling over in Africa. You're never going to hear about it. It was a major deal to me, a very refreshing ordeal because, you know, when I moved over to Europe and then watching the cable TV there, even in Poland you had BBC. The BBC will talk about news coming from everywhere, even Africa. I didn't think that was possible. I didn't know anything was going on in Africa. After so much stuff I heard, I had to do some research, and I'm telling you, it's terrible. It's just terrible. With what countries, white European countries and the United States, what they're still doing over in Africa. You want to talk about quiet raping? As far as I'm concerned, the United States government is Nazi Germany. It is the Fourth Reich. It's just with the mask on. Nobody can tell. Nobody. You join something like the UN, right? I mean, we're doing everything that Nazi Germany did wrong. Where they did wrong, we're getting it right. And the world's just going along with it. So, I've studied some of the atrocities that are going on in Gaza. I'm being affected by it personally. and through business relationships. A partner of mine, a very important piece of I'm not sure how much I should say publicly, but someone I work very close with, who's a cornerstone of one of my businesses, lives over in Gaza. And instead of being able to talk to her and reach her whenever I want, now my company, my staff can only hear from her maybe about once a week in a single message of "I'm okay." You want to talk about the sweetest person you have ever met in your life? I mean, this person, she is just made of sugar. You would instantly fall in love with her. I don't think there's a better example of a good human being than her. Yet she lives in a war zone. I don't know if she's going to be alive tomorrow, or the day after, or the day after. So, I don't know. We need some good old-fashioned protesting. We protested the Vietnam War. We need to be protesting pretty much all of our involvements around the globe. We are not the world police. I will never accept the United States government as being the world police. Not until homelessness has been eradicated in the United States, joblessness has been eradicated, hunger, homes fixed, family units put together, better recovery programs instead of more prisons. Can we fix up Detroit? Can we clean the water in Flint? Until these things are done, the United States government has no business being anywhere else. And I would even put that to the UN. Although European countries are doing much better than everybody else. I'll give them that. Much better than everybody else. So, I'm down for the underdogs. I'll wrap it around. I don't care about Israel. Israel is a state that should be torn asunder and given back to its original people. Send the Ashkenazis and the Khazarians back to the Caucasian Mountains, where they came from. And with that, I'll probably get canceled. As you know, that's okay. Go ahead, Rison.
I'm still not going to be your bitch, so that's fine. Okay. I don't know how I can say this polite, so I'm just going to say it. I don't give a flying fuck for either side. You've got some emotional vested interest. You have to deal with it. I don't have anybody over there. I don't know anybody over there. And I don't care. I just don't care. I've got a job that haven't gotten a pay raise in about it's close to about 3 years now. I'm a little peeved. I started a union movement that has put that halt on the pay raises, and that's going to arbitration. No, it's going to court now, actually. I've had things at my work get dumped on me and there's 3 other people that I work with in Calgary in my media department. And we all are in the same place. We have not gotten a pay raise. My manager, she wants to give us more, but she can't because of the litigation going on. I want to get the hell out of this goddamn fucking city. I need a place from space for me. Like, I need overall solitude. I've got 3 or 4 other things on my mind, and what's going on over there is nowhere near my thinking. I mean, hell.
Well, you know what? You have rich white people problems. That's what you have. My latte has too much cream in it.
Well, I'll make sure to make. I'll make sure that you're not the barista making the coffee. I'll be back in a couple of minutes, boys. I'll be back. Oh, God.
It's a little salty.
Because I actually apparently kiwi and strawberry makes the flavor a little more enjoyable for those who like to go from start to finish, shall we say. If you need to have your zinc protein shake, anyway. And as I said, that's the nicest way that I can say that. I've got about 3 or 4 other things on my mind, and what's going on over there doesn't even hit the top 10. And let's be honest with ourselves, folks. I don't trust either side of the story. I'm not getting emotionally involved in this. And I think a lot of people need to step back and just kind of go, yeah, that crazy white guy maybe has the right idea. Don't get emotionally involved. Like, if you are that attached to what's going on, I'm sorry. Move out of the country that you're in, where you're starting a new life here. Wherever here may be. Not over there, but here. Get out and go over there to support them. I have no problem with that. Now, if anybody actually is going to do it, and well, they end up passing on for whatever reason or another during this time, well, maybe that's what they were supposed to do anyway. I believe in a metaphysical concept called the soul contract. So
you're an elitist.
No, I'm not an elitist.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not an elitist. I'm not an elitist. I'm just trying to.
You keep setting them up, and I just want to knock them down. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, you're not sorry. Don't you fucking lie to me. Here at the Red Pill Nation, where a white guy and a half black guy can just slap each other around, and it's all in fun, and we have no problems at all with each other. This is quite normal for us. But no, so a soul contract is my higher self, my 4th, 5th dimensional being, whatever I am. When I came into this world, I made agreement with who V is in a higher dimension, and Naroki, and Nihilist, and everybody else that I've interacted with. Crazy Chinese women included. And we don't know what we've agreed to do, but there are agreements in place. And this applies to my uncle. Oh, and I'm going to tie this into Naroki's question or comment about Netanyahu. Would he sacrifice his own people to do it? Fucking right he would. apparently Israel agreed that the Israeli government, Mossad, whatever, they were going to let their people be the guinea pigs for Pfizer and Moderna and whatever else. Because they don't care. Because I'm of the opinion that Netanyahu and everybody else like him, and women for that matter, that get into that level of politics, they see everybody as cattle, the goyim, as it would be, as Kelso has said. Now I will take my feelings about the media and I will dial it back to being here in Canada. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't trust the Canadian media, period, because they're bought and paid for by Trudeau. And as I've said before, that Trudeau could eat 4, 5, 6, 17 cobs of corn, and everything that he's going to shit out, they'll pick the corn out of his crap, clean it off, whip it up, serve it to the media. They know that it's garbage, but they're eating it anyway, and they're eating it with a smile on their face. So you can't trust them. And as I said, I don't trust both sides of this because I don't know what's really going on. And I don't care. I really honestly don't care. There are things that I need to do in my life. And condemn me all you want, whoever you may be included. But I have no vested interest. I don't want to know. I don't care to know. I might be of Ukrainian descent. My grandfather was Polish at one point, but he's Ukrainian, as far as I know. You didn't hear me saying anything at all about the Ukrainian side of it all, with what's been going on prior to all of this, because well, as we would find out a couple of weeks ago with the Speaker of the House in Canadian Parliament having to step down because he realized, albeit too late, that we basically, members of Parliament gave a standing ovation to a Nazi, a Ukrainian Nazi that wanted to overthrow the Russian government. Now, that would be basically considered civil war, and apparently Russia is now looking for extradition of the guy. So that would be interesting to see what happens there. But again, I don't care.
Russia and Poland are looking to extradite him.
Russia and Poland. I thought it was just Russia. Okay. Well, between the two, since Poland is part of NATO, that's going to have some interesting tension between Poland and Ottawa, but we'll leave that alone. But, I mean, we're all guilty at some point or another of getting all hyped up over, at best, a half-truth or half-information. I'm no different. But this is one that I'm not going to get involved in. I'll let everybody else send their pussy, Mia Khalifa included, to lose their shit over it. Oh, and by the way, she was raised Catholic as well. So she's a Catholic, I don't know if she still practices or not. I don't really care, but she is in essence a Catholic Arab, and they do exist.
She practices all right. She takes the Black Mass all the time.
Oh, the fantasies that must go through your head on any given second. My God. Only UV would twist this around. Only you.
You keep setting them up, and I'll knock them down.
Oh, you prick. Oh, sorry. You're thinking with that right now. God. Anyway, as I said, folks, if you're going to pick a side, fine. You're right and you're wrong, because you're right for having the emotions that you've got, but you're wrong because you don't know the whole story. And I'll leave it at that. Next.
Well, and let me add on to that.
Sure.
You know, you mentioned how the Jews, well, we'll just say Israelis, or not to be offensive, the Israelis are experimenting on their own people. Listen, there's the whole history of it. There's always been a history. This is where blood ritual sacrifices originated from. Okay, the Holocaust was Jews giving up other Jews. Jews giving up other Jews, Jews giving up other Jews, until you had the few select who were started orchestrating everything and left with all the riches. They had to sacrifice their own people.
Soros, yeah.
They would give up family members just to get the gold and whatever their families had.
Talk about blood. Talk about water being thicker than blood.
Right. But this is past even, you know, it's a blood ritual sacrifice. You sacrifice blood to gain power. This is something they do well.
That was an underlying theme, actually, in the original series in Naruto, where Sasuke's brother killed his best friend to increase the power of what was his Sharingan, which was his
Sharingan, yeah.
His eye.
Yeah. Exactly right. He had to kill his entire clan under the orders of the Hokage. So, yeah.
Well, that was something that had to be... he had to kill his father and mother to stem the tide of what they were... Well, what they were doing was treasonous anyway, so... But that's something we could certainly talk about at another time.
We could have a Naruto podcast.
Yeah, we could. We could. Anyway. And with that moment of awkward silence, and we're getting back to you, unless you're done, V. Unless you're not done.
All right, yeah. Let's keep this moving here, because I want to get some sleep tonight. All right, so the next topic. All right. So last year in the NHL, a lot of players, took a stand. No, I'm not going to wear the Pride jersey. And it's the first time any player in any league has openly decided to do that. Provorov was the first. He got death threats. He got open calls to fine him. He got calls to kick him out of the league entirely. And this happened to every single player in the league that refused to wear the Pride jersey. I myself made a kind of almost like a milquetoast comment on the Seattle, back when I was still on Reddit, on the Seattle Kraken Reddit page, and I got booted for pointing out that it's it's a free country, and by First and Second Amendment, he's free to express himself in whatever way he sees fit. I didn't say anything that was but I got accused of it. And here's the thing: they have been trying to yell and scream down, but I mean, it didn't extend to tape, Pride tape. And I mean, I look at the Pride tape, and I'm like, it's nice, it's pretty, it's colorful. I don't, And there's a guy called the Hockey Guy, and he was saying it's sort of it's just tape. And that's literally what he said. And you want to know something? He's right. It is just tape. The issue is that there have been so many calls and so many demands from the LGBTQ community that everybody take the knee for them, that people are sick and tired of doing it, right? And what's ended up happening is that it's not just tape. You know, I'm going to bring up an analogy of something that occurred in my life, and I'm going to project it out into this. There was a roommate of mine years ago, wouldn't wash his dishes, and the calls on him to do his dishes got angrier and angrier and angrier, and he just wouldn't do the dishes. And then one day, the other roommate in the house literally physically assaulted him over a coffee cup that he wouldn't clean, because he wouldn't clean, and he'd cook his food, wouldn't wash his dishes. He'd eat on the plates, wouldn't wash his dishes, wouldn't clean his cups, wouldn't do any kind of work in that area at all, and we had to keep cleaning up after him. And I totally got why he freaked out over the coffee cup, because it wasn't just a coffee cup. It was like a complete and total lack of respect of space. And this is what this issue is. You know, the hockey guy on YouTube was correct up to a point. It is. It's just tape. But because of the way the LGTBQ, IA plus whatever fucking other acronyms they want to add in, are doing things like going after people who leave skid marks on those rainbow flag crosswalks, open calls to suspend, making death threats to people who won't wear the pride jersey, etc., etc.
Wait a minute. Did you just say skid marks across?
Tires,
Sorry,
not ass
sorry.
marks, not shit marks.
Sorry, guys. I have to keep
I was
this
gonna
down.
say, I was gonna say, having skid marks across the gay pride flag, isn't that? I thought that would have been an upbeat thing.
Hey, guys, we have to keep it down. We're into quiet time here.
Okay.
So it's not just hockey tape. It's gotten bigger, and of course, when Bettman said, "Okay, no pride tape," the community just started freaking out. And when you pointed out to them that the players who refused to wear the pride jerseys the previous year got death threats, they would do anything other than actually acknowledge that fact. And they're still screaming about it. And here's the thing, right? It's falling on deaf ears this time, because it's sort of like, no, we've had it. Like, yeah, you're right. It is just tape, but it's not just tape. It's the fact that you've got a group of people that are demanding that everybody take the knee and celebrate. And oh, by the way, allow them access to kids and not say anything about it. And it's like, oh, well, you're going after me because I'm gay. No, we're going after you because you keep trying to target other people's kids. Oh, you're transphobic or whatever. No, I don't really give a shit. What you do in the privacy of your own bedroom is none of my business. What you're doing, though, is you're demanding that I celebrate your lifestyle, period. And it's not just the tape. It's everything else on top of that. And there's still, it's been over 2 weeks, and they're still whining and bitching about it, and they refuse to listen. So, I mean, when we get to the end of the year show, I'm going to go out on the record and say that, I mean, next June is going to be very interesting, because it's you've got a group of people that happen to be gay and probably pedophiles that are not respecting the space or the privacy of the people around them and are keep making and are told repeatedly to leave people alone and are doing it and making excuses for continuing their bad behavior. Now, what happens on a macro level when that happens? When somebody continuously disrespects your behavior, you keep telling them to leave and they won't leave. You know, at some point, tempers get frayed, and it's usually over something inconsequential, like that roommate and the coffee cup. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Well, you know what? It's not just tape. You know, it's not just the stickers on the doors of Starbucks. It's not just people claiming an entire month and making it a holiday. It's not just them putting materials, obscene materials, in the school curriculum. It's the simple fact. What's going on?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Well, okay. So, the thing is, this is a social war. Okay. And people are fighting back on a social issue. See, because at every point, of all the things that I mentioned, these were steps forward for the LGBTQ community. At every point, at any point, someone could say something. Oh, you're a bigot. So, I mean, would it work if I force myself onto a woman she doesn't want to go down on me? Oh, what are you, a heterophobe? Hey, this person's a heterophobe. She won't give me head. Heterophobe. What, you don't like black guys? Racist! Racist! And what, some people are going to be weirded out. Some people are just going to cave in and do what I want them to do. Right? Isn't that like a form of rape? So how is this any different? At every step, they want a further to push this agenda. Tape. It's only tape. Physically, it may only be tape, but this tape has a meaning. Just like, hey, if I wore rainbow colors up and down, and I step into a gay bar, well, there's going to be an assumption made, isn't there? There's going to be expectations, right? There's going to be a standard of my actions while I'm there, right? So what happens when the entire world is turned into a gay bar? I'm not gay. Am I going to be forced on my knees and to blow somebody to prove I'm not a bigot? Because that's where it's heading. That's literally where it's heading right now. And it's a form of rape. In my eyes. I don't care what somebody does in the privacy of the bedroom. Keep it to yourselves. What I do, I keep in the bedroom as well. I mean, as a straight man, if I talk about doing a dirty act with a woman, say it publicly, well, he's one of he's a misogynist. He's well, what a pig. But if I were to say, oh, I went out last night to the gay bar and I sucked 5 penises, you're gonna get people clapping. Yay! Good for you! Good for you! No, I'm sorry. That's not gonna work. That's not working for me. It's not ever gonna work for me. The thing about, and it's not just a sticker, it's a badge. It literally, it's like planting the flag in the ground. Claimed territory. It's like having a patch or a ribbon on your military jacket. It's something that you represent. It's something that you have done. And it's something that you have fought for. Sorry, that rainbow sticker does not represent me. I mean, what if I were to, as much as people have fought against, Black Lives Matters, so how about I just put a Black Lives Matters sticker on everybody's jerseys? It's the same thing. If you're not black, that doesn't mean anything to you. If you're not gay, that sticker doesn't mean anything to you. Now, I mean, you could be one of these liberals just like, yay for everybody. But in reality, there's a way of life that's being changed. And you know what? It could be for better or for worse. I don't know. In my experience and my travels, I can tell you, I'm starting to believe the elitists that there are too many people. The fact that I have to be in customs, standing in a line for an hour in the room half the size of a gymnasium, because there's too many freaking people on this planet. Maybe some people do need to start turning gay. Stop reproducing. Open a few lanes up on the highway so I can get to where I'm going. Stop having babies. But that's literally where we're going to have to go as conservatives, or as anybody who's not down with the ultimate left agenda. I mean, because at the end of the day, that's what the government wants. That's people. If they have to push homosexuality to the max, they're going to do it. Albeit it's safer than poisoning our food, poisoning our air, poisoning our medications to cull down the population. I would rather than push homosexuality. But at the same time, that's going to appear naturally, though. There's going to be a certain part of the population that's going to appear naturally. If what I'm using terminology here. If the breeders, the original religious breeders, don't knock it off and wear some contraception, then you're gonna have the liberal leftist element that's going to come after your children. You don't want to stop having kids, then they're going to come after them. I like to see myself in the middle of this issue, but it's getting ugly. It's an all-out war right now, and people are getting hurt over it. People are not understanding that there are those people who are doing these sex changes and then going back because they know they made a mistake and trying to change back to their original sex. And so, I mean, you've got people who are being murdered because they go on a date and don't specify that they're not the gender that they appear. People are getting hurt over this stuff. I say be as you are and quit pushing stuff on everybody else, because things are going to happen naturally without the political agenda. And yeah, I'll leave it there. Go ahead, Russell.
I gotta throw in a couple of things here just before there's been a trend with the trans community and the gay community that if you don't, this is just because, like, I mean, like, you hear feminists go, "You're not entitled to my body," but for some strange reason, transgenders and transsexuals are like literally acting offended if some guy who's straight does not want to sleep with them, like they're entitled to it, and it's sort of like, no, it's my body, my choice. And here's something else, and we'll be kind of covering this. Actually, we will be kind of covering this next week with Saskatchewan Premier doing that thing with the pressing the pronouns bill. The thing about the dead naming is that, I mean, when they actually started looking at some of these people who were getting really pissed off about the fact they were getting dead named, a disproportionate percentage of them had sexual offenses in their past. Just food for thought. Rearson.
Well, Naruki, as we talked about this 3 or 4 days ago, whatever it was, and I asked the question, and it's completely rhetorical, but just to drive the point home, it's only tape. Really, it's only tape. So then I, as a hockey player, if I felt so inclined, I could put swastikas on my hockey tape. And that'd be okay, right? I mean, it's only tape. Right?
Exactly.
And I'll leave it at that. Next.
Okay. Oh my God. All right. So this is the Dylan Mulvaney one.
Oh boy. Okay, let's go.
It's not a major award. The fact of the matter is that a magazine, and I suspect they did it for their own personal publicity. They nominated, it was Altitude Magazine. Attitude Magazine. I've never read it. I am not interested in reading it. Dylan Mulvaney is a cancer who destroys literally every company that he gets in touch, he gets close to. He's Blair White is, even though Blair White is also a transgender, Blair White is head and shoulders more attractive than Mulvaney ever will be. You know, they gave it an award. Attitude Magazine gave Dylan Mulvaney Woman of the Year. Now, I don't read it. Like I say, I don't read Attitude Magazine, so I really don't know or care what they cover. I suspect that it's a woke publication that thought they would be able to score some brownie points with a certain segment of their audience, which probably does read their magazine, to boost sales. At this point, any corporation that tries to bring on Mulvaney is asking for trouble, right? Mulvaney actually had to leave the country for a couple of months at one point to get away from the heat because he was facing so much anger. He has, and it has ruined, it's ruined the transgender community, like, to the point where it's never going to recover. I mean, I don't think I'm going to, like what you saw with Scott Moe in Saskatchewan this week with that pronouns bill. You're going to start seeing a lot more stuff like that get passed because, you know, we were just talking about the hockey tape. You know, these people just cannot not mind their own business. And because they cannot mind their own business, because, and I'm going to quote Charlie Robinson from Macroaggressions. The reason why they're not, first of all, it's not an organic movement. It is being artificially propped up, and there is money, there is an end goal, and it involves sex changes, and it involves making money off of that stuff. So these people are basically, so Mulvaney is being paid to do this. He's being sponsored to do this. They want you to see stuff like him winning Women of the Year from a magazine. They want you to get outraged. They want you to get demoralized. They want you to just throw your arms up and quit and walk away. That seems to be the only potential explanation as to why they keep doing what they're doing. And, you know, Dylan Mulvaney is not a woman. Not a biological one, anyway, and saying that does not make me a sexist, a transphobe, a homophobe, or any other kind of phobe. To quote Rearson here, if I were to take Dylan's DNA and test it, what would I get? I would get a biological male. And they will, just like with the hockey tape stuff, you try to reason with this crowd and they just will not listen to it. And there is a group of people who use this particular type of formula. They're known as drug addicts. You explain the situation to them sometimes, and I know because I have done this, in agonizing detail. You point out everything. No, your life has not gotten better since you returned to using. Show me a place where it's gotten better. And you point stuff out to them. You say stuff to them that they can't argue with. Sometimes you even embarrass or humiliate them, and they still keep doing it. And you get more tired and exhausted and pissed off. And at some point, you just go, fuck it. I'm removing this person from my life. And here's the part that is really frightening, is that the powers that be don't want you to remove people like Mulvaney from your life. They want you to keep seeing this stuff. Now, again, I'm going to get back around to this. When somebody is continuously violating your space, not respecting your privacy, not respecting your wishes, gaslighting you, trying to make you feel like you're the bad guy for stating the obvious, what's going to happen over a long enough period of time if it was just one-on-one? That person is eventually going to get physically assaulted, hurt, injured, killed, etc., etc., etc. And that's where we're going. And it's like, they probably know this and are probably going to attempt to manipulate that event. But the only problem is that, I mean, once it reaches that point, it's going to be too late. Right? And doing something like giving Dylan Mulvaney Woman of the Year, even if it isn't a major magazine, they want you to see this. They're shoving it in your face again, and then gaslighting you by telling you that they're not doing it. But they are. And you know they are. But you don't want to get angry, at least not yet anyway, but people's patience is starting to wear thin. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V again.
If Dylan Mulvaney is Moment of the Year, then my 350-pound ass should be on the cover of Playgirl. I should be Playmate of the Year.
Well, you are biologically male. So that defeats your argument right there.
Well, well, I don't quite so much have the physique that I used to have. But, well, okay, so I don't think it's so much about pissing us off, make us angry, but it is about defeating us. Changing the norm and defeating any other perspective. Okay, so this person is losing. He has an audience that doesn't like him. He got sponsors that he has destroyed. But it doesn't matter. He's going to be pushed to the front, because at some point there will be some artificial forced triumph, and it'll be put in the history books. This creature is going to be put up into the anthils with Dr. Martin Luther King, put up there with Louis Pasteur, put up there with George Washington. This person, and just like Naoki said, it's artificial, it's manufactured, because I guess that's the new direction. Now, I would be more comfortable, and you know it's so fake and so phony. Dylan Mulvaney himself is fake and phony as it can get. He doesn't listen. At the end of the day, when he gets tired of the attention, he's gonna go back to being a dude. He's gonna move. He's gonna cut off his hair, and he's going back to being a dude. With all the money that he's suckered people out of. He's not committed to the cause. He has no breast implants. No significant plastic surgery of any kind. He hasn't chopped off his penis. So it's just a man with long hair and a dress. He's not even trans. He's a transvestite. I'll give him that. He's a transvestite. Transsexual? No. I don't think he's taking any hormones, because have you seen his biceps? Seen those man hands? I mean, he looks like he could take care of himself in a fight. That's how manly he still is. So he's got every community fooled. The transgenders, got them fooled. Got straight people fooled. He's got everybody fooled. He's a clown in a costume. That's as far as it goes. He's got everybody fooled. That's what irritates me. I can give him some props if he would commit to the cause. But he's not going to. He's just an actor. He loves the attention. He figured out what he could do to get more attention. Because he tried, if you researched his early history, and I have, I mean, he's a guy just starving for attention. I don't know, he's done some little plays. I don't know, he's been on stage for some stuff. It's just not even noteworthy. Not noteworthy enough for me to even remember what it was that he was doing. But he's someone who loves attention. But he doesn't love it enough to commit to the trans cause. I mean, anybody can be a transvestite. I've done it twice. I've cross-dressed twice. I can tell you I'm not gay. In fact, I did it for the opposite reason. I got to hang out and les out with a bunch of girls. Halloween. Okay? Anyways. That's how much it doesn't take to actually commit or be real about this. He's taking everybody for a ride. I just wish people would wake up and see that. Surely there could be someone more noteworthy. Wasn't there some we talked about recently? Some Asian lady got some like Miss Universe or something, or Miss whatever. She was, I think, was convincing, but she went through the work, right? She, whatever. There has to be someone that can at least champion this, that isn't taking us for a ride. Someone who, we need somebody truly submerged in the delusion that they represent. That's what makes me angry about all this. Mulvaney, I mean, he's not gay. He's not. He's just an attention whore. So I hope I'm on topic here, but yeah, that's all I have to say, I guess.
Alrighty. So I decided to do a little bit of digging with Attitude magazine, and it is fronted for, ultimately, Sir Richard Branson and Virgin Airways Atlantic, or something to that effect. Which is really not that surprising. At least not to me, anyway. Branson's got an island not too far away from Little St. James. I consider the man to be absolutely vile. And what's wrong with, well, someone as questionable as he is? Nothing about Mulvaney excites me. I mean, this certainly did it. I mean, if anything, I've got that B. Arthur Golden Girls rolling of her eyes sort of gif in my head. That's just that was my first reaction, was, oh my God. And then I just started to laugh. Like, really? Okay, fine. I mean, Mulvaney has gotten attention that has been on The Price is Right, for example. I would like to believe that no, Mulvaney's an it. Mulvaney is an it in my eyes. I don't know what its problem is. I don't know what it went through growing up. I don't know what its parents are like. And I really don't care. Someone like this, as you said, V, you took the words out of my mouth. Mulvaney is an attention whore, plain and simple. Like that's all it is. I mean, you want to talk about toxic? I mean, I've had to deal with a toxic female who's incredibly insecure, and that translated into my vision problem from about 4 years ago. The emotional bond between her and I, when she went to someone else, my vision problems were fixed. I have not had a problem since. And I wish I was joking, but I'm not. But people like Mulvaney, yeah, sure, fine. You know what? You don't feed the trolls. I don't give this person the time of day. I don't care anymore. I walk away from it. And I just realized yesterday after I went grocery shopping that, oh, fuck, I wanted to attend the million parent march or something like that. Muslims and Christians are getting together and telling the trans community to fuck off. So it has begun. And I can tell you right now, this isn't going to stop. I mean, there's a feeling within the gay community, gay and lesbian, and I suppose and bisexuals. That is as far as my deviation, shall we say, of sexuality goes. But they've come to realize that their movement to have some sense of pride in themselves, and I'm not talking like the Pride Month, day, month, week, fucking, it'll soon be a Pride year. Let's be honest. They'll push for that. But the people that genuinely are happy being the way that they are, they have been supplanted by the pedophiles. So they're going to have to find a way to get through this. And as I've said before, much like I feel that the Muslims are going to have to, at some point, they're going to have to go through their own reformation. It's going to splinter things even more than they already are. But that's their fight, not mine. But when you get two relatively different theological sects overall are agreeing on one thing, you've got a problem on your hands, and it's not going to get any better. I mean, with the Calgary Pride Parade, and I'm sure it happened up at with Edmonton, there were nudists that these were old guys walking around with their dicks flapping around in front of kids. Now, I can't go and do that to go into City Hall and to disrobe because they'll arrest me and whatever else. But it's perfectly fine. No, it's not perfectly fine. Not one bit. But anyway, everything with Mulvaney, yes, is completely artificial. It's fully propped up. I don't know what, if any, sex changes he's done, and I don't care. That is one rabid piece of shit that I'd love to flush down the toilet permanently. And I'll leave it at that. Back to you, Naroki. Let's keep this going.
Okay, let's take this last topic out.
Oh, but this is going to be a long one. Oh, boy.
Please don't, like, I mean, I don't say this, but something hit.
I know. Yep, I know.
20 minutes, and it's like I really need to get to bed here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, earlier in the year, Disney looked like it was going to smarten up a little bit, and it actually started making some steps in that direction. Suddenly, those steps disappeared, and they went back to doing things the old way. Now, the issue with Disney is that they're at the point now where they're going to have to start selling off assets to stay financially viable. And they've done it, I think, because they suspected that BlackRock was going to, one of the theories that's been going around is that they keep doing it because they know that when the globalists take over everything, they will be the entertainment. There will be their entertainment choice, and people will have to watch Disney whether they want to or not. The only thing is that the people over at BlackRock have started taking a look at, they've got this computer. I can't remember what, I think it's called Aladdin. I think Aladdin has been telling them that trends are turning against them. So BlackRock is choosing to back off. Suddenly they're not pushing the agenda anymore, and Disney is being left on its own. Now, what are the other theory on this is that Leonard Peltz was going to buy Disney earlier this year, and Disney agreed to some terms in order to not have Peltz buy them. And they chose, as soon as Peltz decided to back off, they went back to the same old, same old. Now, Disney has lost at least $2 billion in its movies. It pissed off half of its potential audience in its parks, because you see, the parks could offset the losses from the movies, but now they've pissed off half the country, and they have this ever revolving door, constantly having to find pedos working inside. And let's not even get into the Epstein stuff, the Epstein Disney connection, which is really creepy. But the noise that you kept hearing, like, say, Kathleen Kennedy potentially being fired, blah, all of that stuff, that was done apparently because Peltz was making noise about buying Disney or becoming the biggest shareholder. And the moment he backed off, they went back to doing the same old, same old. Now, what have I been telling you about the LGTBQ community and what I tell you about addicts, right? You have to watch them. You watch them, and as soon as your back is turned, they'll go back to doing the exact same thing that they were doing before. This is what I'm talking about. These people are addicted to a lifestyle. These people don't want to make changes because changes would force them to have to look at themselves and would take them out of their comfort zone. And that's the last thing that a lot of these people at Disney don't want to do. And they will fight tooth and nail to make sure that it doesn't happen, because it threatens their quote unquote lifestyle or whatever. The inevitable result is that Nelson Peltz, because Disney had, here's the other theory that I've heard floating around, is that BlackRock was under the table encouraging Disney to make these insane decisions because they knew it would drive down their stock value, ergo making it easier to buy even more controlling interest in Disney and to keep the cycle going. Peltz, though, who is apparently on the board of Disney already, has decided that enough is enough, and he is going, allegedly, to launch a hostile takeover of Disney. Now, is he going to succeed? I don't know. Is it a real thing? I don't know. Peltz is a business conservative, which doesn't necessarily make him a social conservative, but then again, I'm not really a social conservative either. The issue is the fact that Disney has become such a bad place to put your money as a stockholder that they have to start selling off assets, and they put themselves into a position where they are potential targets for hostile takeover. And this is going to start to apply. Well, for instance, Bill Gates bought up a portion of Budweiser, for instance, and George Soros bought up a portion of Vice, right, to keep them afloat. So these companies are, again, I think that what happened is that to a great degree, the globalists underestimated the speed at which the population would organize resistance, and their attempt to control the internet really started to sputter out And again, like there's some very mixed feelings about Elon Musk, but I mean, you know, going back to the Krassenstein stuff. I mean, yeah, Krassenstein stuff still appears. Hold on a second. On my feed. And it is consistently stupid, but I mean, it's not the first thing that appears anymore, right? If you're willing to pay Elon Musk for exposure, Twitter will still do it. Most requests for government censorship, Elon has agreed with and has gone ahead and done it. However, and specifically around the Pride tape, for instance, when these individuals start screaming bloody murder about Pride tape, now they don't get the circle jerk anymore when they post up about it. They get the hostile angry response. The same thing what's going on in Saskatchewan right now with the pronoun bill. Right, these people are on Twitter screaming bloody murder and saying that Saskatchewan's an international embarrassment and everything else. And you go and you look at the comments, and they're not getting the endorphin fix. They're not getting the circle jerk they used to get. But getting back to Disney did this to themselves. Really, they did. And because they did this to themselves, you know, I mean, they put themselves in this spot. And yeah, I'm not particularly surprised that Nelson Peltz is going to do this. And again, right, Hollywood is going to have to do something. And you saw some stuff happening already with the Writers Guild strike, and now you're starting to see it with some of the corporations that were the biggest woke content producers out there, where they're finding out that the pit isn't bottomless and that people ain't buying what they're buying, and having economics based upon a wish or that things should be this way don't work. If your stuff ain't selling, it ain't selling. And you can rail on about the evils of capitalism all you want. Government is running out of money. They're running out of power. There's definite rumors of them. They want to potentially start World War III rather than actually fix the issue. And yeah, so am I surprised that Nelson Peltz is attempting to come along and potentially buy Disney? No, I'm not. And Disney has been rumored to be selling off some of its assets to Amazon, to Apple. So yeah, they're in big trouble and they know it. And I don't know what Peltz is going to be buying, but I mean, if Disney does not course correct soon, there won't be a Disney corporation left. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, well, I think it's something that we really have to be careful about. Corporations used to be out just for the money, but now it's the money and the influence. Disney should have been happy just to pander to children. What larger audience could you have? The children control the parents as far as their entertainment is concerned. The parents are the source of the money. You had it all in the bag already. But no, It's all about controlling. I mean, it's greed. What is the Bible or any holy book or any psychological book or any moral relativistic book has ever taught us about greed? There's going to be a high point, but after that high point comes a low. And now we're seeing that low. Okay? They just had to buy Star Wars. They had to buy, this. They had to buy that. They just, everything with Disney on it. I hate what they've done to Star Wars. I mean, doesn't even Disney owns some Fox, right? I think that's what I remember, something like that.
Yep, they got no, they got everything from Fox except for their news channels, I believe. Okay. And that was overpriced. Anyway.
And Warner Brothers buying DC. Although, we got Marvel, right? Disney got Marvel. I mean, you become too widespread, and then you're going to come up with too many variables that you cannot control. That's just a simple fact. Spread yourself thin, and your position starts to break down. Your control starts to break down. And that's just what we're seeing. So, if I was just to wrap up what Naroki said, he put it so eloquently, but that's basically what it all comes down to. And I can't say that I'm sad to see them go, because, I mean, even with everybody has... The wrong issues are being worked on. We're still having issues relating to each other, getting along with each other through religion. We're still having race problems. They want to jump all across the top of everything to something that's completely artificial and made up. Okay? Something that's completely not real. I don't care how many people have some mental issues concerning their sexuality. It's such a small percentage of the population, and it's the most heavily pushed thing out there. They would have been better off trying to bridge Christians and Muslims together. That would have been a great and noble cause. But there's no money in that, right? There's no merchandising you can do off of that. Racism, I mean, it's... world's becoming so mixed up. You're going to see a black person anywhere. You're going to see a white person anywhere. You're going to see an Asian person anywhere across the globe. We're starting to mix and get along. But again, there's not really much merchandising, is there? You have a lunchbox with every child of every race on the planet. Yay, world peace. Yeah, it's not really going to sell, though. What does sell is some gay cartoon characters in inappropriate positions. That'll sell. So all this fake morality and tolerance, it's just so fake. It's fake at the highest levels, and something needs to bring them down to earth. We as a species need to get our crap together, because if we don't, stuff like Disney is going to happen to us over and over again. Stuff like Budweiser is going to happen to us over and over again. Have people like BlackRock, George Soros, pulling the strings. It's not what we want. That, go ahead. Go ahead, Steve.
I'll try to keep this mercifully short for you, Norky. That actually explains a lot about what was potentially happening with Kathleen Kennedy, and from the rumor mills that I had heard listening to DVD Overload, where it was the four horsemen of the Bob apocalypse, especially with Lucas film. The funny thing at this point right now, and I'll just keep it to this. So everything that happened with Bob Chapek, and he was undermined at every opportunity by, he was Little Bob. Bob Iger was Big Bob. And Iger stepping down from the CEO position, but he kept his position on the board. And the people that are on the board don't know jack and shit about the music, about the entertainment industry. So this gave Iger the ego boost that he needed to do things that he thought needed to be done. So, and a little bit of a side note here. I got into a bit of a discussion. There's a Star Wars short, and it was Billy D. Williams doing, I can't remember what it was for the short, but it was Star Wars way back in the day. And I replied to the guy that posted, it's like, yeah, too bad Glover just got, Glover's character just couldn't do very much because it was written with shit. And somebody replied back, it's like, oh, I think that was the best, it was a great or a good movie. I'm tempted to reply back, yeah, it was, I guess. It financially flopped. You had some blue checkmark triggered director. They had at least 2 changes of directors. Ron Howard reshot a lot of stuff. You know, it was just, everything about Solo was just not viable. But this is what Disney turned into. The biggest problem that Iger has right now is that he's under the hot seat. Mainstream media is not towing the line for Disney anymore. And this man said, it isn't so much that Disney, what Disney they've done to themselves. Yes, I agree. But I will put a face to the Disney problem. Is that Disney's problem is that it was Iger from the beginning. I've said this before, but apparently he's very, very well connected within the swamp in DC. He knew what was going to be coming down the pipe with COVID, my opinion. So he conveniently stepped out, put Chapek in charge. And apparently there was like no interview process. He just picked Chapek just because. Chapek learned what he needed to learn at a presentation, and that started the division between the two of them. And now that he stepped down or he got fired or whatever, and Iger is back in charge, and now that shit's going to hit the fan under Iger's watch, all of a sudden, he's feeling overwhelmed. He's exhausted. He doesn't know what to do. And he just wasn't expecting this. Bullshit. Disney's problem is Iger's problem, and Iger's ego is bigger than that fucking castle in the middle of their property in Reedy Creek. And this is all his undoing. I have no sympathy, and I cannot wait to see how shit's gonna hit the fan at this point. And Peltz is going, he already bought $1 billion worth of stock. Now that the Disney stock is tanked, and it's like half or 40%, 60%. No, it's 40%, I think, of what it was at its high back in 2020, I think. And that is a big decline, a big market decline. He now has bought another $1.5 billion into it. I don't believe that he has a seat yet, and they're waiting for their earnings report, which is next month. That's going to feel like a long fucking time. And again, like the whole thing with Ahsoka, it was just terrible. I haven't watched it. I'm not going to watch it. I refuse to watch it. I've had more fun watching people rip it apart as a comedy routine than it was anything else. So, yeah, you reap what you sow, Bob. You should have gave up the ship fucking 10 years ago. You should have left on a high note when you bought Lucasfilm in its entirety, and you should have walked away, but you didn't. Your ego got the better of you, and now you're reaping what you sow. Good fucking luck. And that's it from me, my friend. Sign us off.
Okay, I believe I actually posted up topics for 337 already. Yeah, I have. Very interesting show for 337. Yeah, hopefully I won't be quite so tired. I'm still making the adjustment of having to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and usually I'm in bed by now. So, yep, that is it for tonight. For those of you who don't know, I am at Patreon as the Red Pill Nation. Or as the Rocky 5. I'm subscribed star as the Red Pill Nation, which I should have done at the start of the show. Please help and support me. But that is it for tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna hang up, and I'm gonna stop the recording, and I'm going straight to bed. So have a good night, folks.